That's why you always do a camera check. How are my shorts looking, Tony? How am I looking here? All right. Hey, cheers. Good to see you, man. Hello. We need to get into the ASMR ass smear. We got to get into that, dude. There's money to be made in that realm. I'm telling you. Ready?
Just because there's money to be made in a realm doesn't mean we need to do it.
Here we go. Funny story. So I did that video for the Virginia Aquarium. I filmed a sea star and did like a time lapse of a sea star through a glass bottom tank so you could see it moving, and I lit it from the bottom so you can see the little suckers. You know this. And there is no sound effect for sea stars, suckling along.
Suction cupping their way along
Suction
some glass.
cupping, yes. So I was searching the internet, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I can distort some things, maybe bubbles popping. Nope, ended up doing that. And did that about 9 different ways, and then I layered it all and did some EQ stuff to it and made it sound like what I would imagine a million little suckers suctioning onto glass would sound like.
You fooled somebody.
Yeah. So I think maybe that's our next venture.
Yeah, sound design.
Sound design. What do you think?
Timberland style.
Yeah. Timberland always had that baby sound.
Mm-hmm.
I love that little babies.
A lot of nature sounds too.
That whole
a lot of beats, just beatboxing and stuff like that. Back in the Aaliyah days and stuff. Missy misdemeanor. Yeah, man. I like that stuff when they were getting experimental, like banging on cups and stuff and recording music.
There was this old, and you know of this, there was this old video game platform, piece of hardware called the PlayStation Portable. It was a PSP, and Timberland came out with a piece of software, a game for it. It wasn't even really a game. It was almost like an application called Beaterator. It was a Beaterator. And it was basically like your typical Fruity Loops kind of sequencing program. And man, I wish I somehow was able to get those audio files that I made, because I was getting real experimental, dude. I would go on a big snare drum that had a Kevlar head, and it's basically it's a Kevlar. So I took a pen, like a ballpoint pen, retracted the ink part, and I would just and you on the PSP you could just record. It had a microphone, so you could just record stuff. So I would sequence with that, and man, I made some fun stuff. I wish I could find it.
You have
banging on wine bottles with drumsticks and things like that.
You got like 2 months to figure that out, because they're closing that store and the PS3 store. Shut down.
It's wild.
Which is the conversation we had about digital stuff.
Yeah.
About digital ownership and do you own anything. It's a real interesting time right now with that digital. The concept is just what do you really own in life? We've talked about it before in terms of like back in the days of the cartridge and stuff like that, and then in your VHSs and your DVDs, anything physical. It didn't matter if Walmart closed. If you had your copy of whatever it was, you could still listen to it, watch it, use it. We're going into a brave new world now where these things could be taken away. And I wonder, because it's always been back when we were kids. If you read the agreements and stuff when you bought stuff, it would tell you you're not purchasing the game, you're purchasing a license to use it. And then this cartridge is a key to use it, and that's your permission, that's your proof that you purchased it, was having that cartridge. So they could argue that you never did own it. The reality is, though, you did. And you were able to trade it and sell it, and there was a resale market and there was a collectible market. So it's weird when these whole stores disappear and you don't have access to stuff anymore. You can't go back and buy that game and relive that moment. Digital was weird that way. It's funny. I was looking for a documentary about the sterilizations that happened in Puerto Rico. I forget the time frame, but it was like before the 60s, the U.S. government worked at Procter & Gamble to sterilize a third of the women in Puerto Rico, completely sterilized them.
Why? I wonder.
Because the idea was through the United States colonizations and going to different places, Puerto Rico was one of them where they ended up. And a byproduct of that was you have a very poor population, and it becomes pretty much a burden on the economy of the United States, because you're still giving them all these subsidies and all these programs to help them out. And the idea was, as women back then were looking at ways to have birth control, not complete sterilization, but just birth control. The idea was, let's just sterilize them. Let's control that population. And this is documented. These things happen. So I say all that to say it has to do with the digital age. I was looking for this movie that goes into a dive on that, because I was reading the synopsis and I was reading about the author and the director of that movie and all the information that's in there. Can't find the movie anywhere. So that's part of the whole digital age too. It's who's archiving this stuff forever? Like, I guess things just get lost. Like, there's just things that just won't exist anymore. There was a comedy movie that I found, Coupe de Ville, that we love in our house. That was incredibly difficult for me to find. And I finally found it. It popped up one day on Amazon. I'm just like, man, like, it's a shame. We're going to lose like so much stuff through history.
Imagine all the stuff we've lost.
Yeah, already. Like all the information we've lost, the great movies, the pieces of art. Have you seen this whole NFT thing?
NFT.
So this thing, the non-fungible tokens, this is like blowing up now. It goes along with the Bitcoin conversation, and I'm going to segue into that a little bit. As far as the whole blockchain technology that exists, that it's the backbone for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and all this stuff, where just you're taking real money and throwing it into the ethos, and it's getting value, and we're exchanging stuff on the stock market back and forth and all this stuff. That blockchain technology is being used to be assigned to a piece of digital artwork. So what I mean by that is, right now you can go Google images of Ryu from Street Fighter, right? That could have been copy and pasted a bajillion times. You could have downloaded it, saved it on your phone a million times. With NFT, you're going to be able to track the original version of that digital file. And that has value because I have the original. It sounds silly now, but
That's
in the
not
future,
silly. It's not silly
because it sounds silly in that anybody could right click and paste and save that same. It's different from like a piece of artwork, right? Like if you have the original Picasso that he painted, there's awesome value there where it's like, that's the one he actually painted. He stood over it. And in the digital age, it's like, that's because they're trying to assign it to, well, not trying to, they are assigning it to music. And you could also kind of also limit the amount. It's like, these are the original recordings. This is it, and we're gonna mark it and like guarantee and stamp, and that information will be recorded forever. And they're already auctioning off digital items for like millions and millions of dollars, 75 million, 100 million, because I have the original, or I have one of the original copies of this digital file. And maybe that's gonna help maintain some stuff too. Like as far as what we're talking about, if movies go away, if video games go away, maybe we create an NFT token to kind of establish a permanency there. So someone's archiving it. I don't know. It's going to be a lot of hard drive space, but it'd be great if how do you identify what gets archived forever and ever so that it can be seen 100 years from now? Because like now we got so many mysteries about how the pyramids were built, how this was done, how that was done. Who's keeping track of the stuff today so that type of loss of knowledge doesn't happen again? I don't know.
It's an interesting thought.
You hear about like the Library of Congress and all this stuff and different archives in the government, but who's selecting what to go where? It'd be interesting. I don't know. I've never looked into it. Is there like a museum for movies? It has to be, right? It has to be. Like an archive of movies, whether, not even based on whether you liked it or not, just an archive of this movie was created. I guess you have to assign it, like, you don't want everybody's home video in there. But I don't know, major releases, like that should be stored somewhere for historical value at least, to see how things were done and the way society moved.
Do you know if can civilians just go to the National Archives and just start thumbing through stuff?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It seems like something you should have an appointment for. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I didn't like walking in the library.
We're busy today. It's Tuesday. Yeah, it's rush hour.
No, I'm not going to give you
the lunch rush is coming in for the Nixon documentation.
Yeah, no. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're coming in to find missing planets.
Oh man. Speaking of stuff that are just going to be locked away in a vault, my favorite football team. There's a lot going on with this team, dude. On the football side, and then on the political side. So the owner, Dan Snyder, has been embroiled in this crazy smear campaign by all these minority owners of the team, because there was all these Washington Post stories that came out, these bombshell stories that came out, alleging of horrific, 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 alleg sexual harassment, this macho
reprehensible behavior.
Yeah, by from the top all the way down. So anyway, this woman named Beth Wilkinson has been doing a report for the last 3 months, and apparently it's about to be, it's concluding. And a lot of people there's been leaks happening, and apparently, I mean, some of the stuff got traced back to Dan Snyder, the number one, the majority owner. But anyway, this dude just filed to go and purchase the rest of the stake of the team. So he owns like 60%.
Oh, so they're trying to kick him out, and instead he's like, I want the whole thing.
So he's buying it all. So he's buying it all. So this is what happens. So you can only have so much debt or go into so much debt to buy a team.
Okay.
And Dan Snyder, the first time when he bought the majority of the shares, was at that limit. This dude somehow convinced the big boy club that, nah, you should just waive that and just let me buy the rest of it. Because the NFL just struck a massive historic deal with all these networks where they're literally going to be doubling and sometimes tripling in some of the networks their profits in the next 10 years. Like they just said, hey, Fox, CBS, and all you guys, price just went up. So Dan Snyder is now buying the entire team. And a lot of people are going, well, wait a minute, isn't this report going to... Washington football fans were very excited that this may be the day that Dan Snyder gets the boot and gets kicked out, because he's been the sole reason why the franchise has just been in the gutter for 20 years. But I'm telling you, there's going to be a lot of NDAs. There's going to be a lot of confidentiality stuff. I'm telling you, this dude, they would not have approved this man to buy this if they were going to just get rid of him a couple months from now. So I was listening to this great radio show this morning, and they talked about the National Archives. They said, this is not going public. You're never going to be able to, you might 30 years from now go down to the archives and find the Dan Snyder tapes, and then maybe you get, and it made me start thinking, I'm just like, man, how much stuff has been just brushed over and glossed over, and let's just say the last 100 years in America. You know what I mean? How many people got paid? How many people got hushed up? How many people, just a little dirt.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Donald Trump say one of his promises was that he was going to open up the JFK files?
I have no idea, but that does sound like something he would have said.
That or Watergate, or both.
We're going to find out who was on the grassy knoll once and for all.
We're going to close the border and open the files.
We're opening the files. We're draining the swamp. I have no idea.
But yeah, to the point that I don't know who can get in and out of those archives.
Who can get in there?
There's a lot of stuff.
And what can you? I'm sure there's things you can't get to.
I tell you what, I don't necessarily laugh off every conspiracy theory anymore. I don't.
Well, dude, some of the truths that have been uncovered in the last 50 years of stuff that happened in our country, it seems like it's so far-fetched, but then the stuff comes true and you're like, okay, so you can't really discredit anything these days.
Do you believe in the existence of the Illuminati?
I think there's probably some, in any group of people, there's always the people in charge, the people that are, you have to follow the money,
in the
dude.
Power structure, you
have to follow the money.
Power is in the hands of few people.
Yes. So I believe, yes, of course, it has to be that way.
That's kind of how I see
the whole Illuminati and it's a secret society and the Hollywood portrayal of it, probably not.
It wouldn't surprise me. We'll probably never know, but it wouldn't surprise me if there was. But yeah, I kind of agree with what you said.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's very
the uber wealthy clearly have control. They do.
And your friends, and you hang out with people of your economic status most of the time. Mm-hmm. It's very rare for you to make 50 grand and have friends that are millionaires. It happens, I'm sure, but it's very rare. So the power structure is going to be in the hands of very few people, and the people underneath are going to be a whole lot more. It's just like that everywhere anyway. So it's not. That's a very logical assumption that yes, if they have a little secret club that they call a name, I don't know. But that there is a group of
very, very powerful people.
Count them of however many few. I don't know if there's 100. I don't know if there's 1,000.
Yeah.
The planet is enormous. We're in the billions or whatever.
No, it's got to be in the 100. I bet you it's 100 people.
How many people on the planet?
Where you could call up your buddy and influence some change. I guarantee it. I mean, that's just, why wouldn't it be happening?
Oh no,
it happens. Sure. It all scales, right? It's like it's happening on the lowest level, and then why wouldn't it be happening at the tippity top? You know what I mean?
And we know that that a lot of the power stems from a few last names. There's certain families we know for sure. Mm-hmm. It's like when you get into the conspiracy things, that the Rothschild's name always pops up.
The Turners, Ted Turner, and you got
Vanderbilt's pop up.
Bill Gates.
Gates not so well. Yeah. In terms of he has a lot of money, but it's like these dynasties in the U.S. and throughout the world. That
I see what you're saying. The Kennedys.
They own the banks. They run the banks. Like the Vanderbilts own. Like I think it was steel or whatever. Like they ran train tracks and stuff like that. Like I forget. I could be completely wrong, but there's families that like owned entire industries. And like the Rothschilds, like from the banking industry.
The Koch family, dude.
Yeah, the Koch brothers and all that stuff like that. Whatever. But yeah, no, the certain families are running, and it's not like it's funny. It's not
this
like
isn't just
it's not
America,
celebrities,
guys.
and then your Jay-Z's.
Yeah, it's
like,
not your Beyonces and your Taylor Swifts.
That's
and,
cute that
and
you
your
have 5 billion.
and your Jim Carrey's. Like, dude, that's a drop in the bucket for these people, man.
And a lot of names you never even freaking heard of. It's like, you think like your favorite celebrities, like I said, Jay-Z, like, oh yeah, he's a billionaire. Kanye hit $7 billion, which is wild. Kanye West hit
that's
like
a lot of money.
$7 billion.
That's crazy.
In the mix of all his chaos and wild life, it's like, dude, this dude's been stacking money. Like,
here's the thing, though, man. Those guys kind of are not. Those numbers are nothing.
It's like,
those
that's
numbers
cute. You hit
nothing.
$7 billion. Like, there's people buying, like, swaying entire. Do you ever see Lord of War?
Yes, with
like
my man,
swaying entire like countries.
Nick Cage, dude. Yeah, no. So in that respect, yes, I think there is a. Call them the Illuminati, call them the Skull and Bones, call them the friggin' New World Order, call them Anonymous, whatever you want to call them. But yes, I'm sure, dude, there is. We can just go ahead and say yes. There is very, very rich and powerful people all over the world that
have no interest in being poor again.
That have no interest. No interest in
being poor again.
Or losing their power. So
and will do anything they can to keep
They'll hook each other up.
Because you know what's funny? We do that on a very lower scale anyway.
That's what I was telling you. It all scaffolds, dude. At the lowest level, day-to-day life,
it's all relative.
Working class families, like, it's the same stuff.
Yeah, dude. You bring home 50 grand. It's like, I want to keep every penny of that, and I will do everything I can to keep it. If that means, I used to say this at the job. I'm like, this is not the fans of the show. They know that Tony's very pessimistic, and I have a certain viewpoint on when it comes to friends and who you trust and stuff like that. But in the workplace specifically, I would tell people, be careful with how much you share about your personal life. It's like, first of all, be careful with who you call friend. I say just keep everybody away. Just be very careful. But in the workplace, for sure, you don't have no friends here. Because here's the thing, and I used to tell people this all the time. The very real reality of this is the day that you and your buddy get in trouble and there's a conversation with the boss, they are not going to say, yes, me and Matt did something together, we got in trouble. They're going to say, nah, I told Matt not to do it or whatever. I really wasn't. And then Matt was the one that jumped in and messed that thing up. And then Matt will get fired. No one is it just doesn't happen that way.
It is true.
When it hits the fan, when the chips are down for real, these people will eat each other. They will.
Heath Ledger.
So people will hold on to everything they have, and part of it is rightfully so. You worked for it, right? You didn't work for it to just piss it away, for lack of a better way to put it, or to let anybody else ruin it for you.
At the end of the day, dude, it's like I think about my family. It's about me, my wife, Vic, and my unborn son. At the end of the day, that's all really that matters to me. You know, I love my family,
and we understand.
I love my friends.
It's understood. It's understood. The priority, man. The priority is this.
Push comes to shove, I'm going to do what's best for us, our little unit. That is what we're going to do. Like, now you have no questions asked,
and people will understand it. Yeah. I think mature people.
I'm not saying I would cut somebody down or screw somebody if I could help it, but.
That's kind of thing. If I could help it, like if to save my family, I got to go through you. Then I'm going through you, like right through you, whatever that takes. That's just the way it is.
What are some other conspiracy theories?
There's a lot of conspiracy theories. There's a lot of wild, just negative, nasty conspiracy theories going on with government and stuff like that. But the whole thing about aliens and whether the whole Area 51 thing, like what's in there. You know, we saw that video where the dude was like, I don't know if there's aliens or not, but we were working on an engine that I never knew how the heck that was made. Remember that thing you showed me? It's like, I don't know what that was. They were telling us how to figure out how to make an engine. I believe stuff like that happens. Like, we talked about it before. Whether they're aliens or not, I don't know, but it wouldn't surprise me. I feel like the universe is we can't even begin to grasp how big this planet is. Just a planet. We don't even know like how deep the ocean is, like in terms of like the vast, like it's not been traveled. We never seen it. Like there's just so many parts of this planet we don't even see. We don't know. We're gonna start to pretend we understand the entire universe. Like I don't know. It just seems too big for there to be absolutely
crazy
nothing.
for humans to just sit there and make definitive statements like that. Like we are alone. It's like, what? What are you talking about, man?
I'm a curious person. I love like investigating things and questioning things. But yes, it's funny like how people are so sure of certain things like that. Like, how could you know? I don't understand.
There's a great what is Tommy Lee Jones quote in the original Men in Black? 50 years ago, we knew. Tommy Lee Jones quote. Hold on, it's a good one.
You say, just yesterday, you knew you were alone in the universe. They think of what you know tomorrow.
I love this one. A person is smart. People are dumb, panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it. That's a good one, man. That's a good one. Dude, what a great movie. I need to watch Men in Black again. It's been a long time since I've seen it.
The first and the third one were incredible. The second one was all right, but the first and the third one were awesome.
I got to find this quote. Hold on. It's just full of good ones.
I think it was when he grabbed Jim Carrey and said, I cannot sanction your buffoonery.
I cannot sanction your buffoonery, dude.
Which is like one of the dopest insults you could tell somebody.
Imagine what we'll know tomorrow. Men in Black. Sorry, everybody.
We'll get an answer here at the speed of Google.
Oh, here we go. Yeah. 1,500 years ago, everybody knew that the Earth was the center of the universe. 500 years ago, everybody knew that the Earth was flat. And 15 minutes ago, you knew that humans were alone on this planet. Imagine what we'll know tomorrow.
Yeah.
I gotta go watch Men in Black. It's been a minute.
Neil deGrasse Tyson says that, and I'm going to paraphrase it because I obviously don't remember the quote exactly the way he said it, but he said he's exciting to learn enough to know what the next question is that you should ask. It's like, because right now we don't even know enough to know what are the right questions
to ask to get to the next step,
to get the right answer. Like, we don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, we're just trying to figure this out. It's like, because a lot of times you'll learn about this and that'll lead to a new question. And he's like, I want to know what the new questions are. Like, what's the next question going to be? Like, we figured this out. What's the next question? What's the next journey? That's the Star Trek thing, to boldly go where no man has gone before.
I mean, it's crazy. I'm seeing stories that we're just discovering new stuff every day in space. It's crazy. New images of a brand new system of planets that are literally right down the street. They're not that far. We're finding this stuff out. It's crazy.
So we're going to MARS.
MARS. Mars.
Supposed to be going over there, I guess.
Why the hell do we want to go to Mars? Have you seen Mars?
The idea is that the Earth's resources are finite.
Yeah, but have we found resources on Mars?
Yeah, I think they
is there oil on Mars? They found
traces of water and stuff like that. I don't know how far away. Are we going to ever?
Yeah, we're going to need more than traces, though.
Are we ever going to get away from oil?
We have to. We will.
Why? You know what's funny?
I think it's going to run out.
Thinking about it now, oil is supposed to be like fossil fuels, right? Well, eventually,
it's going to run out.
We're going to have to start burying people and fossilize them then, because we're going to use them for oil. Like,
yeah, but isn't that supposed to be like tens of thousands of years? And
I don't know when it's going to run out. How it's
I don't know. Yeah, it's funny. Everybody said it's going to run out, but do we know how much we got? Like, did somebody go, all right, we got 4 billion gallons left? You ever ask this question?
Yeah, they say the sun is going to burn out in how many million years or whatever the hell.
It's hard.
It's hard because science said it has to be observed, right? Like that's the thing. You have to observe it. People much smarter than us have figured out the math and seen that the lights dimming over there means that star died how many millions of years ago, because by the time it takes to travel over here or whatever,
sure.
They say that the stars we see, a lot of them are already dead. They're already dead. It's just taken so long for that light to stop getting over here. Like,
think about what you just said.
That's wild. What you're watching doesn't exist anymore. You see it.
That's insane.
And they've measured this. They know this. Like, that's nuts. That's wild. But I tend to believe this, kind of what Ian Malcolm said, life will find a way. I tend to believe that the Earth, we are here on this planet for a reason. And I think this specific planet has everything we will always need. I think it always will. And the planet will adapt. The planet we will figure it out. If we run out of fossil fuel, we will warm ourselves with something else.
Look at George Carlin's skit. The Earth is going to be fine.
Yeah, no, we will die.
We will be gone.
Yeah, we will. The Earth will be fine.
We will be.
I almost feel like animals. I don't know. Maybe peaceful. I'm typically pessimistic, but in terms of that, I'm optimistic. I'm like, I think barring the explosion of the sun and ruining this planet, like completely obliterating this planet and our known solar system, I think life will continue in some form or another. Whether it's just the humans are gone, it's just animals. Whether it's just a bacteria, I don't know. But I think this planet is sufficient and has everything we need to continue life forever and ever.
George Carlin, he goes on this long tirade. The magnetic reversal of the poles, asteroids being bombarded, volcanoes erupting, worldwide plagues and tsunamis and all this. And we think a couple of plastic bags are going to do something?
Yeah,
dude, it's so funny. He said maybe the Earth just needed plastic and it needed us to make the plastic. And now it has the plastic. It's Earth plus plastic. Dude, it's so funny. This little blue and green little marble ball floating through the galaxy. He is a great bit.
Yeah, no.
Because he starts ranting about Earth Day and all this. Like, we're going to make even a little bit of a difference.
And this way, I agree with that more than I disagree with it. Because I get it. I feel that way most of the time. But at the same time, I'm the type of person that's like...
I also don't want to walk down the street with a bunch of shit and trash everywhere, too.
Well, yeah, no. And if we could help keep the planet clean and keep life a little bit more pleasant, so where I'm not having to breathe with a mask because the smog alert for this weekend is... Like, what is it in California?
Dude, LA.
Like, it's like, hey, this weekend, the
don't go outside.
There's going to be so much smog that you stay in. Like, that's wild that's in the forecast. Like, smog's coming down. Like, just, no. Yeah. If we could do something to help that's cool. But I'm not, I'll put it this way, and I may lose the favor of some people that may or may not see this or whatever. Until the 4 people.
I was about to say, too.
Yeah, the 4 people. No, but this could be a polarizing issue sometimes when it comes to the whole green planet and stuff like this. I'm like, until it is cheaper to get an electric car, then we will continue to pillage the planet for its resources.
Hey, I'm going to tell you right now.
I get all the good intentions. I understand that. But the bottom line is, at least on our level, we have a finite amount of money. I can't afford an electric car. It's not practical today in terms of financially. So bring on the gas car, but you're killing the planet. I will continue to kill the planet until it becomes financially cheaper to save the planet.
I'm telling you right now, it's like the whole gun argument. So long as there are guns and gun-loving Americans, there are going to be guns. So long as there are truck-loving, diesel fuel-loving car maniacs, there will be we're going to just keep going. We will keep going. It doesn't matter if, I'm telling you right now, even if they came out with, let's say, a $15,000 Tesla that looked just like your Ford Chevy, they're going to be like, nah, man, not for me. It just ain't for me. I like the sound of it. I like to smell it. I like the horsepower. Like, it's just never going away. At least in this country, it's never going away ever until it runs out, and you are forced to.
I like that because I grew up in the era of like the loud engines and like the exhaust.
All good.
I like that too.
It's never going away ever. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be motivated a lot by money, because when people have a choice of spending, 20 grand on a brand new Tesla or 40 grand on a Ford truck when they comparably do the same thing, I think people will trust their pockets more than I think there's going to be a crowd of collectors or whatever, enthusiasts and stuff like that. But I mean, cars have transformed a lot, and there's still a niche crowd for them. There's still a huge following. You could say like the changing of the engines and gone are the days of the carburetor and all these advanced things now. It's like I can't tinker with my engine like as much as I used to. You still got people that I want that 1960 thing with the carburetor and the engine like this, and I still want to take it all apart. Yeah, they find that, and I hear about it all the time. It's like I remember back in my day, we used to get inside the engine bay, like and sit inside there and work on the car inside. It's like today, all these computers and stuff, there's no space, and you got to take it to a mechanic, and you got to have an engineering degree now. You got to have a network security degree to work on the car now.
You got to have money to get somebody to work on your car.
But I say that to say, I think there'll be people that be attached like you mentioned, but I think for me, as a poor person, I think the motivation is going to be money a lot.
Tesla comes out, and it's funny, all these Tesla snobs out there will say, they make a $40,000. I'm like, I ain't got 40 grand. 40 grand. I don't have 40 grand for a freaking new car, okay?
40 grand's a lot.
I don't have that right now. When I think affordable car, I'm like, $15,000. Okay, $15,000.
I was going to ask you. For me, it's been around that range. 15. I think 18 was like the most.
So you know how much I've ever paid for a car? $6,500.
My first car was $3,000.
65. That's the car I'm driving right out there.
I got $6,500. My first car, cash. Just walk to work, save money, got the car.
Big up to all the working class families out there.
Yeah, big up. I like cars a lot. I like cars. I'm a big car fan. I wish I had the money to responsibly own something like crazy nice. Like
I've just been.
That's my thing. Like I was a big fan of cars. Like when I
could care less.
Before having a family, that thing was cool to me. Like I like it, and I still like it. But I think I'm mature enough to clearly make decisions based on I got that can come later. That can come later.
Yeah, maybe I've just been just so broke my whole life that I've never been like somebody like you asked me what my dream car is. I couldn't tell you. I got a few. I like that. I could care less, dude. I don't care.
Nah, I like cars,
but there are a lot of people that are big time car nuts.
Yeah, if I had my way, well, hopefully we'll get there. Hopefully we'll get there. I'm pulling up in an office for something that I'm having fun in. Like I just like it. Like this is my cool car.
I just like something that is clean and gets good gas mileage.
These days, the stuff I like though is going to be mixed with more practical than just visual, and that would mean I have to get like I really like these days those SUVs that like the Secret Service drives and stuff like that. Because I'm thinking like whatever I get has to fit. It has to be cool, but the family has to fit in it. And the family's big now, so that means that I'm gonna end up having to get like a $60,000 SUV if I want to be cool. Mm-hmm. If I want to, so maybe I'll get there. I will get there. I got other things to take care of right now.
Yeah, they don't make really cool coupes that seat 8.
Yeah, no, they don't. It's like we got a van now. Luckily, the van's cool. It's black. It's like it's fine. It's fine. Oh, I'd like a dope SUV with like the blacked out everything, and that'd be fun to drive. And I'll get there. But there's priorities, baby. This is not the time to get that right now. It's time to build and invest and work on the house and stuff. The endless list of the house, man. This is like if you own a house, that list don't ever stop. You fix one thing and something else has to be tweaked and worked on. And I don't know how you get the time. It's tough to keep up with everything. And that's always the endless cycle. It's like I don't have the time or the money to deal with it. But at the same time, it's like if I don't deal with it, it's going to be way more expensive.
Here's something I saw on Reddit that goes right along with that. This woman posted this thing. It's a quote. Woman named Kenyon Lang. She's verified on Twitter. No idea who the hell she is. She's just one of these kind of posts. She goes, just to confirm, everyone feels tired all the time, no matter how much sleep they get or caffeine they consume, but also has trouble falling asleep, is constantly hungry but also nauseous with acid reflux, spends every second working or cleaning, yet nothing gets accomplished. Just want to be clear. And I read that and I'm like, man, wild. I feel like that's a lot of people.
Well, it sounds like bad time management is what that post sounds like.
Ooh.
That's what it sounds like.
I don't know. I relate a lot to that.
Well, I think that person is, the way I hear
diet, not enough water.
The way I hear that is everybody says they're super busy doing all these things, but nothing is getting done. So if nothing is getting done, though, then to me it's bad time management and bad perception of how much work you're really doing.
Yeah, or you're working in a job that you could care less about. Spends every second working or cleaning, yet nothing gets accomplished. Yeah, it's just like that. This just seems like it's the paycheck to paycheck people, man, that are just constantly, they wear their work clothes and then they wear their pajamas.
That and it's a lot of it is choices though, for real. A lot of it is choices.
Yeah, I'm tired of that, man. Like I just feel like sometimes you're trapped.
Nah, I get it. Get it. It could feel that way. We've been making. In 3 years, we made crazy strides in a positive direction. But I could think of a lot of moments where I know of several people that made significantly more money than me and ended up having less. And what that just tells me is it's choices.
What do you mean having less of what?
Less ability to do the things they say they want to do, and less material stuff that they say they want. And I have found that throughout my life. Like I got several examples that come to mind of different friends and family to where I know, because we talked about it, there was a trust. It's like, this person makes double what I make and says they can't get XYZ or do XYZ. And I'm just like, we're making different choices is all. It's different choices. That's not always the case with everybody on the planet. But you know me, I'm always looking to blame myself before I go looking for the answer or fault in somebody else. When it comes to that quote sounds funny to me because it's that maybe I'm in a super champion Rocky mindset today, but I'm like, I'm trying to fight against the losing mentality. It's like, nah, I can't do it. I am going to get past this. Some days it feels like, dude, it gets rough. Some days it's like, dude, this is never going to end. When is this going to get, better?
Everybody's got different circumstances, especially financially.
Some days it feels that way, but I think a lot of times we talk about it all the time. There's always a self-awareness and be honest with yourself. Yeah, we're always honest with ourselves. We have to. At some point, it's like, can I do the 100% or whatever, or did I make the right move or whatever? Because I know I haven't made the right move all the time. Like I juggle so much stuff, and it's like so much stuff falls through the freaking cracks. Like relationship-wise, that I could have took care of a little bit better. And we were talking about it the other day, like in terms of like, it's a tough balance to figure out when do you vent and when do you kind of hold it in, because both of those could kind of be like hurtful to either you or the person you're venting to. It ain't healthy to keep everything bottled up forever. It ain't. And sometimes it's not healthy to like vent too much, because you could say something at the wrong time. It's like, and you just like blow it off and throw that burden on somebody else.
Somebody could think about you that's something that isn't true. Like you vent too much. Yeah. You hold on to things too much.
Yeah.
Too many things bother you.
Yeah. It's a balance. But you got to do right for yourself and kind of manage that. That's the endless journey. But I deal with that too. And in terms of somebody that lives in their head, it's always like, when do you release some of the pressure off that valve? Like when do you stop the explosion or whatever? Because people explode, dude, being catastrophic, and then you got to have a sit down and apologies and stuff like that, and that's fine too. That's fine. That's part of life. It ain't the end of the world. But that do be happening. We got to sit down with our families and loved ones and be like, listen, man, kind of lost it there for a second, man. I gotta recalibrate, dude.
Well, we do our best to try to not cause confrontation, and over time, you start to resent things, and over time, you bottle too much up, and over time, these patterns are really wearing on you, but you're appearing that they're not, and then all of a sudden, it all comes out, and the other person on the other end goes, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
Everything is great. What? All of a sudden, it's awful.
That it do feel like it comes out of nowhere sometimes. It does.
People do a good job of hiding stuff.
Yeah. No. You know that comedian Russell Brand? Mm-hmm. He
Very smart guy.
Yeah. He there's a quote he said where he was quoting someone else, and he said that a person asks, like, what do you do when you're at the fork in the road? You know, when you got to make that pivotal decision in your life and you're at that fork in the road. And he says that the person explained to him, he was like, most of the time the fork in the road was not where you think it was. The fork in the road was years ago.
10 steps back.
It was way back then. And it made me think, it was like, that's true. That pivotal moment was not there. Like, sure, you might have to make a decision at that time. But what got you there is a long list of, decisions and situations and outcomes or whatever that led to that point. So it's that endless journey of awareness of like, what's going on around me? How's it going to affect everyone? Thankfully, though, and I've said this before, the average is, if I look back at life and in the years, things tend to trend upward. Things tend to be positive. There's going to be dips, but they tend to work out in their way. I mean, I think you could look back and see things tend to work out. It does. It sucks in a lot of moments, but it's going to be okay.
Well, I think there's multiple. You look at a bar graph, it's not just one that's going up and down and trending up. I think there's about 50 different ones that could, some are, sure. In certain ways, your life has gotten better. In other ways, it has maybe been trending down.
Oh, no,
I think it's a very complicated thing. I think to just say a blanket statement, you're better today than you were. Well, in some ways, yes, absolutely.
I think there's dips and valleys and stuff like that. But in Scarface, every day above ground is a good day. Mm-hmm. We drew breath. It's another chance to kick tomorrow's butt.
Yeah, I say that a lot to random people in 7-Eleven. They ask me, how you doing? I said, well, we got another chance. I'm doing good. We got another chance today. So that's good.
Yeah, no, that's when because we did jobs. Everybody has a job at some point that they didn't like, or at least we think, right? Like I don't know, unless you're super rich and your daddy got you threw you straight into the freaking vice president of whatever the heck.
Yeah.
But everybody got a job they don't like, and you could kind of identify them, have empathy, right? That's the thing you're talking about, like the 7-Eleven. Like a lot of times it's like, I get it, man. I know what that wait is like, dude. It sucks today, but keep pushing. There's a way to, that hard work pays off, man. Sometimes it feels like it just, when is it going to pay off, dude? When?
Yeah.
I seen a meme that showed a person. It was like two people. It was like they're both mining, and like one dude like got to the like right at the front of the diamond and gave up, and then the other one got like right through it. It was 2 more steps. 2 more steps.
Mm-hmm. All right, everybody. It was good to see you again. Thanks for watching.
I do like what's his name? Mr. Rogers.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for coming to
Thanks for being our neighbor today.
For the next episode, we got to start by putting on our shoes.
Yeah. Button up our little...
Hello, all.
Hi there. Everything's real calm. Always. All right, man. I'm Matt.
I'm Tony.
And this is the Tsunami Podcast. Tony fell asleep. Come on.
Oh, that's right.
Come on. All right, now.